Welcome to the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast. My name's Nick. Now, we were going to do something a little different this week, but, sometimes guests fall into your lap, and when they do, you just roll with the punches. So we're going to change things up and talk to somebody from one of the shows that I have been addicted to for, I think, 3 seasons now, Love After Lockup. Now, if you have never heard the show before, then you would not have known that we have already talked to Scott Davey, who gave us some exclusive interview information. We've talked to Lizzie Comis about her experience on the show. Jonna DeGriglio was here. We also talked to Michael. Can't remember Michael's last name, but Michael is on the current season and past seasons of Love After Lockup. So we've had many guests from the show on Fancounters, and that is no exception because Tracie Wagaman is going to join us today from Love After Lockup. Now, if you are brand new to the show, one thing you got to do, you got to hit the subscribe button so you get to keep hearing all of these celebrity podcasts that we have. Every single week on Fancounters, we have a new celebrity guest, and we want you to be here. So hit subscribe, and then give us a 5-star review. Hit the 5 stars, give us some nice words. That would be great, and we would definitely appreciate all of the support that you've given us. If you want to follow us on social media, we have a private Facebook group. That's called Sharpie Nation. Just look for Sharpie Nation on Facebook. Ask to join, and I'll let you in. You can also join over 29,000 of our listeners on our regular Facebook page. It's just searching Fancounters, and that'll bring that page up. If you want to email us your questions or comments, you can send those to hello@fancounters.com. If you have a guest that you want to hear on the show, send us an email, and we'll do our best to get them on the show, and we can even get questions from you if we can get that person to appear. We've got so many great shows. Even though this coronavirus is sweeping the United States, we are still recording podcasts. Elizabeth is not with us because she, we're just friends, and she would have to drive here, and it's not okay. According to our governor here in the great state of Wisconsin, who put us all on lockdown. We have been sent to our rooms. We can still have dinner if it's already in our fridge. So we're going to get started here under quarantine here at the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast. We've got, like I said, Tracie Wagaman waiting on the telephone, and we're going to start talking to her right now.
Coming to you from nowhere near the entertainment capital of the world, this is Fancounters with Nick and Elizabeth on the Podfix Network.
There was this mob of people, and they're screaming my name.
Crazy fans.
Stop following me. Don't come around my house. If you do, the cops are going to be at yours. If I'm having dinner with my wife, don't sit down at my table. Don't follow me into the bathroom.
Can I take a picture? Oh my God.
I think this guy wants to fight me. Ended up being a fan.
I'm the only one that's ever been on Sam Jackson and lived to tell about it.
Well, guess what? I have a big surprise for you.
That's why we call it Fancounters.
I don't think you're going to last on the air very long.
Tracie, welcome to Fancounters. Thanks for being here.
Hey, I'm so excited to be here. I know we've been meaning to do this for quite a while, and I'm finally able to do it.
Woohoo!
So.
I'm glad you're here. So where exactly are you right now? I know that when we talked, you were kind of thinking about going to Ohio, and where are you?
I am currently residing in Texas, my hometown, and I'm still iffy about the Ohio thing because, me and Clint are really not on speaking terms right now. But we were, and he wanted me to go out there, and I was planning to go out there. But right now, I'm just going to stay here in Texas.
Okay. And quarantine's treating you okay?
It is, and currently right now, Texas has no rules, no curfew, none of that. So it's just nothing to me right now. But a lot of the restaurants are closed down. And we have a lot of game rooms out here, and they only allow 10 people at once. And it's just kind of getting ghosty out here, like a ghost town almost.
It's a surreal experience, that's for sure.
It's very scary, and we've had 5 cases of people that have it here in the city I'm in, and 1 man died yesterday, unfortunately.
That's not anything we want more of. And, that's why I'm okay with being quarantined here in Milwaukee, because we're doing what we can to not spread the virus, and certainly I don't want to get it. I don't want my family to get it, so yeah.
Exactly.
So your life has been a topic of discussion all over the internet because you decided to showcase your release from jail in front of television cameras. What did you consider when making that decision, and do you think that it has made adjusting to life on the outside of prison easier or harder?
Are you talking about like the first time I got it, like the first time I went on TV?
Oh, yeah, going all the way back to your release. I'm just going to hit a few questions from the start of your release.
Okay, well, how it started was Clint and his mom. Okay, Clint was my pen pal. He was my pen pal in prison. I went on a website called writeaprisoner.com, and Clint was one of my pen pals. And we talked for about 6 months, and we decided that I was going to go live with him. And, you know, possibly get married. It was it was crazy because I never thought I would marry a pen pal. But just so happened, about a week later, Love After Lockup, a casting director wrote me a letter asking me if I wanted to be on a TV show. Apparently she saw my ad. And the funny thing is that Clint and his mother watched the show. They were familiar with it. And I told Clint, oh, my God, that show you watch. Well, they just wrote me. And so it was so crazy, but we talked about it. And in the beginning, he wanted to, like, just do it. He wanted the fame. I wanted the money.
Okay.
And
fair.
He got his fame all right.
Yeah.
But anyways, we just decided that it would be cool. But the weird thing is I never met Clint in person until the day of my release. The day I was released, I met him in person on camera for the first time. So that was a little awkward. But we decided to do it, and as far as it changing my life, it has to, but the main thing is it's caused me and Clint a lot of animosity because he has a lot of girls that write him, and it's a newfound popularity for him. And for me, it's just like, hey, it's pretty cool getting recognized out there in public and stuff, and it's awesome.
Now, Clint was set on marrying you the moment that you got out of prison. In fact, he wanted to do it the very next day. But as I've talked to other cast members of this show, I found that when you get your freedom back, it's kind of overwhelming because you go from a very controlled environment to the Wild West. Anything goes. Did you find it hard as well to kind of get back to being in the public? And, you know, was marriage something that you really wanted to do right away?
Okay, I've never been married, and I'm 39 years old, fixing to be 40. I never thought I would get married. So marriage is something I really didn't want to do, but there was something special about Clint, and I don't know. I just fell for it. I fell for him, and I'm okay with the decision. I was glad with the decision, but it was a little hard adjusting because I'm used to having a what's it called? What's that called when you do something every day at the same time?
Oh, schedule.
Structure.
Yeah, structured schedule. Mm-hmm.
I'm used to people telling me when to go, where to go, how to go. And so it's a big change when you get out because you don't have rules. You don't have somebody telling you what to do. And I'm so used to, like, you know, sleeping at a certain time and waking up at a certain time. And I never even got to take a bath, you know, for so many years. And so, yeah, it took me a little bit to get used to the reality of life, to sleep in a real bed, to have a real hot bath, to get up when I want. And, you know, my job at the time was being on the show. So even that, you know, I had to get up at a certain time and go to work. So, yeah, it's a big change, and it's freedom is it's awesome. And, you know, you wouldn't think I would think that as many times as I get in trouble, but I just can't help it. But anyways, yeah, it's a big change.
Did you feel like you owed it to Clint to marry him?
To be honest, I definitely thought I owed it to Clint to marry him because he did. He stood by me. He sent me money. He wrote the parole office for me, which I'm no longer on parole or anything. But he gave me a security, a place to stay. He treated me well in the beginning, and yes, I definitely owed it to him.
Can we talk a little bit about what happened on that wedding night after, you know, the camera stopped rolling? I mean, you disappeared. You were gone. And I think everybody wants to know, and I don't know if it's ever been answered because I didn't get a clear answer on it. What happened to the rental car?
No, Clint doesn't believe me because a lot of the stories I have seem bogus. But being in I'm not going to say drug world, but being in the world I was living in is a lot of crazy stories. And so what happened to the rental car was I took it that morning to go purchase some more drugs. Mm-hmm. We had purchased them the night before. Clint was asleep. He didn't want to get up. So I took the car to go score. I scored. And I was on my way back, and I went to the store, and a random person wanted to that he wanted a ride. So I gave him a ride, and this sounds so crazy, but he wanted me to go buy him some Swisher Sweets or whatever it is to Lord Point. And as soon as I got out of the car, with the keys in the car, no, I wasn't thinking.
Tracy.
I went inside the store to go purchase his thing, and as soon as I walked out, he took off with the car. And it sounds bogus, but I did not pawn the car. I did not rent the car out. It was actually stolen. And somebody asked me, do I want to call the police on him? And I thought, well, I do, but I don't know what to say because, I had taken it too. And so Clint is currently blacklisted from the rent-a-car place because when we went to Vegas, we tried to rent a car, and they would not let us because the car was never found.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes, it was never found.
Okay.
And I thought rental car places had GPSs. So I was for sure they were going to go find the car. But it was never found, so he's blacklisted.
Oh. Okay, but here's the deal. So you didn't call the cops, you didn't tell Clint, and you didn't go back to the hotel. So where did you go for 6 days or whatever it was?
Well, my friend's over here laughing. I went and got a motel room, and I partied, should I say.
You partied.
I had to get it out of my system. At the time, when I was smoking crack, crack is a totally different kind of drug that makes you do things you normally wouldn't do. It makes you see things you don't see. It turns you into it's a disgusting, ugly drug. And I couldn't handle the crack. And crack got a hold of me. And so I wasn't in the right set of mind when I did all this. And I feel horrible about everything that happened that night. Because, he drove so far to come see me. And after the 6 days or whatever, he actually he drove back in his Camaro and picked me up in Houston.
Wow.
So he drove so many miles. And after that, I actually I quit after that. I quit. I just stopped. So
one would think when you're in federal prison that you would have been weaned off the drugs by then, or at least gotten help or, the ability to say no. Were you getting drugs in jail? I know, like when I talked with Lizzie, she was getting drugs in jail. Were you also in that same situation?
Okay, that's a lot. That's what my mother says. Like, you go so long without smoking cigarettes, you go so long without drugs. Why would you need them? The reason we go so long without drugs is because they're not available.
Right.
You have to. So when I got out, honestly, one of the first things on my mind was, I want to get high. It's been so long. It's going to hit me really good. And it's available. I myself was not getting drugs in federal prison. I heard about some girls getting them, but I myself, no, I never got them in jail. Had they had them in jail, I probably would have. But I didn't. I didn't want to, it's pretty damn expensive. And so I never really talked to those people who could get them. So, no, I never did them.
Okay. Well, let's fast forward a little bit. I can't find exact dates for this next question. I looked really hard, and with the timeline on television, everything's delayed, and you don't know how long it's delayed for. So here's the deal. You lost 45 pounds while you were in a stint in jail, which drastically changed your appearance from those early episodes. So a lot of people speculate that it was because of the use of drugs. But how did you lose 45 pounds so fast? Everyone wants to know.
I myself find that hard to believe that I lost so much weight. It got so bad that 2 weeks before I was released, the guards came up to me and told me that if I don't start eating, they were going to take me to the hospital and put a feeding tube in me. Okay, how that started was I got arrested in Seminole, Texas, and I did a whole 9 months in their county jail, which that charge got dropped because of the delay of the courts. But I was in a one room for 9 months straight that I never left.
Oh, my gosh.
You showered in that room. The food was brought to you. They had exercise for an hour a day, but you went from one room to another. Everything was brought to you. So you're with a roommate or a bunkie in the same room for 9 months. Totally freaking sucks. The reason for my weight loss was I got really, really depressed, and I quit eating, and I had quit eating little by little by little. and it got so bad that I just couldn't get hungry anymore. And I was on the pill Wellbutrin, which suppressed my appetite as well. And so I lost my. It was a depression mechanism. It's the way I
Sure.
mechanism. It's the way
You were coping.
I throw it out. Like most people will sleep. Well, I just didn't eat. I quit eating. And when I ate, I felt guilty, and I got depressed. So I thought I looked so good, shit all skinny. And then when I got out and saw the episode, I am just horrified of how skinny I looked. It was disgusting. Disgusting.
Well, I think you look really healthy now. At least the picture that you had sent me and stuff. I mean, you look really great. You should be, very happy with that.
Yes, I am. And I could actually gain a little more weight. So, but yeah, I'm trying.
So when the show's producers came to see you in a more recent episode this past season, you had a wildly different hairstyle. It was shaved down the side, and you honestly looked like crap. Was
right?
Was that rock bottom for you? Were you at your lowest point at that place?
Okay, let me explain the hair situation. Now, that's due to everybody thinks I get twacked out and pull my hair. That's not what happened. I don't pull my hair when I'm twacked out. So what happened was I've been wearing hair extensions for a long time, and hair extensions contain glue. And so when I got out, even though I had still long, pretty hair, I was still infatuated with the hair extensions. So I started doing them all the time, and I had this money now. I could buy them all the time. And instead of doing it the proper way, where you glue them and then you get this like oil thing to take them out, I pulled them out. So my hair was slowly pulling out little by little, and I just didn't care at the time. And it just one day it started pulling my hair from the scalp. So I never really shaved it. I never really cut it. It was all pulled out from hair extensions, which I was doing like every week. So that, and I knew it was coming out. I just didn't care at the time.
Well,
so it's growing out now, and I've been wearing wigs. I've been sporting the short style. I just do it all. I color it. I just wear. Sometimes I do more extensions. So that's what happened with that ugly ass hairstyle. But now that it's grown a little bit longer, some people say I can rock the short look, and I like it long. So
I think it looks better long too. I agree.
Well, yeah, thank you so much.
So were you wearing an anti-suicide gown in that visit? Many people said you were suicidal. Was that something that you were dealing with at that time?
Yes, this is to be honest. I know how jail is. I know what you have to do what you have to do. And the only reason that if you tell them that you're suicidal, you get your own room. Okay? And so I did not want to deal with population when I got arrested the last time in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So I told them I was suicidal, which I wasn't. I just told them I was so I could get my own room. And in that case, you have to be naked, and they give you that thing to wear. That's all you have to wear. And it sucks wearing that, but I was also alone. And so that's the way I wanted it. And then I was alone in Dallas for 3 weeks until Clint bummed me out.
Well, it is a trade-off. If you don't want to deal with other people, I guess you'd have to give up something. And
yeah, I gave up my clothes.
Just a fun question. What's the best meal they serve you in prison, and what is the one where nobody will eat it? It's nasty.
God, there's so many. I'm going to say the best meal that I ever had in federal prison was steak and shrimp, which is served every New Year's.
Okay.
And yeah, steak and shrimp with a baked potato, and I don't eat shrimp, so I would always trade my shrimp for another steak. And the worst meal, I'm going to say, would be a fish patty. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah.
That sounds gross.
It was. It is.
My favorite quote that I read online comes from a meme that says, "I want a love that's as solid and unbreakable as Clint's phone," because he threw his phone all the time and it never broke. It was just like, holy cow, this guy got away with everything. I just dropped my phone on the floor and it cracks. But I want to talk about Clint for a second. He used his phone not only to talk to you, but he also was in another relationship, carrying that on his phone, cheating on you. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that because I discovered something that you were on a show, another podcast. You were cheating on me a few weeks ago, which the show was just, they never let you talk. didn't understand why they wanted you on the show if they weren't going to let you speak. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
You're talking about the red flag to make cute scarves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's Lily. Shout out to Lily.
There's a woman named Jen, right? She's in Cincinnati, and that's where Clint is.
Correct.
Was that the woman that you were finding messages from on his phone in that hotel?
No, that's not.
That's not.
Clint has a lot of girlfriends right now. Okay, the girl in Vegas, whenever I was reading the text messages, what Clint did was Clint has got a lot of fan mail. Clint gets a lot of topless photos. I get more messages from addicts, from mothers of addicts, from a few guys, but not really so. Mainly girls who just give me inspiring, inspiring words of encouragement. Clint was getting all kinds of fan mail, and it's new to him because he's never had a girl flirt with him. So this newfound popularity and all these girls that wanted him, which I tried to tell him, most of them only wanted him because he's on TV, but, he doesn't believe that. But anyways, I mean, it is what it is, So he met one girl that he liked, whatever, and I was getting real suspicious. And he wanted to go to Vegas with a friend of his, and he wanted to take a break. So, okay, he went to Vegas. While in Vegas, this girl reached out to me, and she screenshotted their texts, and she sent me their texts. And so he was actually going out to meet her with our checks. Because we had shared one of the checks, and he didn't leave me none of that money, which is fine. But he went out to Vegas to meet her. It intercepted, and he never actually met her. And I think he was getting catfished because the pictures didn't seem real. But I don't know. I don't remember exactly how it transaction, but she reached out to me and sent me all their texting and told me what happened and how it happened. And to this day, I still hear from her once in a while. So that was the first girl. And then I caught him messaging a bunch of other girls. And I'm already used to it now. And then this Jen girl, he met her while I was in rehab, which breaks my heart because I feel that had I never went to rehab, he would have never met her. And I always wonder the what ifs, but I can't be like that. He met her while I was in rehab, and he continued to talk to her when I got out of rehab. And he told me, I won't talk to other girls while you're in rehab because you're trying to better yourself. But of course he did. And when I got out of rehab, we were in Albuquerque. We got like this big motel apartment type thing for a week. And he kept going to his car to smoke his weed because you can't smoke the weed in the hotel. And I wondered, why does he keep going outside? And he was talking to her the whole time. And then he decided to go move with her to try it out, whatever. We stayed. We're still there. So.
Well, that's a slap in the face because you really went to rehab because he encouraged you to have a better relationship with him.
One of the only reasons I went to rehab was, A, to try it out for me, and B, was because I did it because he told me to go. And he wanted me to go that bad, so I went for him, for me and him. And it really bit me in the ass. It really did. And, I know I've done my fair share of bad things due to drugs, but to leave me in Albuquerque like that by myself, just left.
Yeah.
Said I'm going to Ohio and just left. No warning, just left.
So you checked into rehab. In fact, before I go there, I got to ask a question for my wife because she wants to know this. We were watching the episode the other night, and you guys made a random stop, and you guys were sitting on the trunk of the car, and there's like an old feed mill or something in the background. She wants to know, why did they stop there? Like, what was the purpose of them stopping 4 hours away from rehab?
Well, what happened is the show needed to get some more, footage and stuff, and I don't know why they picked that particular place, but they did, and it kind of just made it look like, we trailed off just so I could spend like a little, few minutes alone time with him.
Okay.
And I don't know why that particular place. I guess it's all they could really. Texas doesn't have much, but flat land and stuff. So
right.
I guess that's why we went there.
All right. So you go to rehab. You check in. You're there. It says 24 hours, and you check back out, which really made me sad because I thought, oh crap, here she was going to get all better, and now she blew it. And then at the end of the show, it says you went back for 45 days, I think.
I did. Okay.
Congratulations on that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. The first time I went to rehab, I was coming down. I was detoxing, and when I finally came to my senses, I just couldn't. I couldn't handle it. I wasn't ready. I was not ready. So I called Clint, and he told me, whenever you're ready to leave, I'll be here to pick you up. And he told me he was on the way. So I waited and waited and waited. And like 4 hours later, he called back and he said, tell her I'm not picking her up anymore. And so he did not pick me up. So I took off. I called an Uber and I took off, and I wasn't ready. And so finally down the line, I met back up with Clint, and we both decided I'm going to give it another shot, and they were full. So I had to wait about two weeks. And so I was with Clint for 2 weeks, and I went back. And I was going to do 30 days. And after the 30 days, the statistics are if you do 30 days, 1 out of every, I think it's 8 out of 10 people relapse. And then 45 days, it's like 6 out of 10 people relapse or something like that. So I thought I'd give it a shot, and I stayed the extra 2 weeks.
How did you feel when you got out?
To be honest, I was getting kind of used to it already, and it was had a lot of nice people there, a lot, and I could have probably stayed longer, but I was just so ready to see my husband. I was just so ready to get out and see him, and so it felt great. You know, he picked me up around. I was supposed to leave it in the morning, but they let me leave right after midnight. So Clint picked me up right after midnight, and it was all surreal. It was awesome to see him because he visited me every visit, and it was great.
So you come out of prison and you think about your next high. Was that thought gone when you got out of rehab?
It was gone for a while, and it's just it's always going to be there, no matter if you go to rehab or no matter if you stay clean, or it's the thought's always going to be there. So. But yeah, it was for a while. It was there. I didn't think about it because Clint kept me busy. He bought me a lot of craft stuff, like the coloring books and like just different little books and stuff to keep me busy, which was really cool. It was really cool that he thought of little things like that to keep my mind occupied. And cards, we played cards and stuff like that.
Have you stayed clean since you've left?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I've done better, but I've had slip-ups, yes.
Okay. Did you see that a few days ago that this Jen was on that podcast that you were on, and she...
Yes, sir, I sure did.
Did you listen to the whole thing?
Did I listen to the whole thing? I think I listened to about half of it. It was way too long.
It was long. Can we talk a little bit about some of those items that they went into and came out?
Sure, I'm down for whatever.
I just feel like some of this stuff deserves a negation or a response or something. So rehab was the first thing they brought up, and they made a claim, Jen made a claim, that you went into rehab with drugs on your leg, possibly taped to your leg, and that she saw a picture of that.
Yeah, I heard that part. I mean, really? But okay.
Well, I would think they would check you when you go into rehab. That didn't sound like that could even be possible.
Okay. The deal is I did have drugs on me, but I did not have them taped to my leg. They do search you. They do, but they don't search thoroughly. And I knew that because I had already been there before.
Right.
And I did. I had a little bit of drugs on me. I didn't want to flush them. But what I ended up doing was, after I checked in the second time, I was in detox for about 6 days. I did end up flushing them. I did. But on my leg is just so bizarre. I don't know what she's talking about. I had them in another spot, but on my leg, I don't know where that came from.
Okay. Well,
don't know.
Now, you have had some really big jackpots lately. You were at a casino and you won over $10,000, and then just today you posted a $100 win on a lottery ticket, which is pretty lucky because I suck at all of that stuff.
You saw that, huh?
Oh, I see everything.
Dang. Damn, you do keep up. I have luck in casinos. See, I won $3,000 in Hobbs at one time. But anyways, when Clint left me to go to Ohio, about 2 days later, I called an Uber and I went to the bank and I pulled out about $1,000 and I decided to go gamble because I was heartbroken and I didn't know anything else to do but then to go gamble. And so gambling keeps my mind happy. And so about $40 later, which is not much at all.
No, not at all.
I hit $1,700.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, cool, this is awesome. I'm not that big of a deal because, I had $1,000 on me, so whatever. I won $1,700. I ended up going back to my motel, and about 5 in the morning, I couldn't sleep, and I decided, fuck it, go back to the casino. I went back, and I hit the grand, and I won $14,500. So all in total, it's like $15,700 I won. But it was the same casino, the same day, like 5 hours apart.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
And they give you cash there. So I won it at Sandia in Albuquerque. And that was $14,000 was the most I've ever won in one jackpot. It gives you you have to hit these buttons, and if you hit $3,000, you get the grand prize. If you hit 3 majors, you get the major. But I hit the grand, and I was screaming. I couldn't believe it.
And you did something good with it. You bought a car, right?
Oh, God, I bought a car cash, and then I wrecked it a week later. I was going to go to Ohio, and I wasn't ready to go yet. I wanted to sleep, but somebody wanted me to go so bad, and I ended up running a light. I guess I fell asleep at a light, and I hit a pole real hard, and I know the airbag woke me up, and I got a DUI for that.
Oh, no. Were you hurt?
I was not hurt at all. Not at all.
Wow.
But I did go to the hospital.
So you got a DUI for that. Was that in Texas?
It was in Midland, Texas, yes, sir.
Oh, man. You didn't even get out of the state.
No, I sure didn't. No, I didn't.
Yikes.
It was a lot of pressure on me to get to where I needed to go, and I just took off. And it's crazy because I've never been in a car wreck. Never had an accident. I've gotten tickets, but myself had never hit anybody or been in a car wreck, and just finally got my own car, paid it off. It's paid off. It was paid off, and I wrecked it. I mean, that was karma for me, I guess, for things I've done. But it's looking up now, and I just you win some and you lose some.
So, is your marriage to Clint? Are you still working on it? Is it getting annulled? Are things 100% over? Where do you stand?
I don't really know where I stand because when he went to Ohio, it was one of those things where, okay, I'm going to go try it out, check it out. I need to see where my heart is. Okay, are you going to wait for me? Oh, yes, I'll wait for you. Go figure out where your heart is. I'll be back in a week. Okay. Well, that never happened. So when he was in Ohio after 2 weeks, I knew it was over. And I read something on Sarcasm or something that he did an interview saying he was going to divorce me. Well, and then about a week later after that, he started calling me again. And I guess him and Jen had a fight, or I don't know the situation. I know they were together intimately twice,
right?
But I don't know if they were really a couple. But anyways, he started calling me again. We started talking again, and I said, "So you're divorcing me, huh?" And he's like, "No, I can't divorce you. I won't divorce you." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "I just said all that to hurt you." He goes, "No matter how bad it is, I don't want to divorce you." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." And we started talking. We were doing really, really good. And he asked me to go to Ohio. And despite, his mother's on the lease of the apartment, and if I go there and she finds out, it's all going to go, we're going to get kicked out. He said he didn't care. Come anyways. He begged me to go. I had text messages of him begging me to go, by the way. And I was going to take a bus out there because I didn't want to fly. And I was going to get a bus ticket, and then I hesitated, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And I call him just a few days ago and tell him, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get the ticket now. And he said he's met some other girl again. He met a girl in Florida, I guess. So,
wow.
I think he's getting around town.
I guess so.
Ohio, Florida,
there's a lot of girls in New Mexico. I mean, you don't have to go too far.
Well, I mean, it's pretty sad. He has to drive so far to get a girlfriend.
Well, Jen says, though, that she's still in love with him. And that if he would get back with you, she would not interfere with that, but that she still did love him, which I felt was real interesting.
I talked to Jen yesterday on the phone, and yeah, she still loves him. And I mean, when they were together, I mean, I don't know what they were because he never posted if they were together or if they were like a couple. So I don't know what that status was.
Right.
But she told me that while he was FaceTiming me, she was at his house, and he made her hide. He made her hide while I was on the phone with him. And, he talked about her. He hated her, blah, 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 blah. And Clint's just a pathological liar, and I don't know what to believe anymore. And it breaks my heart that he got into my emotions again by telling me to go out there. And he's like, if you loved me, you would have already been out here. And I'm ready now, but he just got another girlfriend, so.
That's very sad, especially because he's still married.
Yeah, and what bothers me is that he left me. He went to Ohio. That was nothing to do with I left him. He left me.
Right.
And then he just calls me one day and expects me to drop everything and just go out there to be with him. And I love him, and I'm willing to do that. But on my terms, I wasn't quite ready to get out there yet. And he kept saying, I don't have forever. You think that I won't find another girl. Well, I have a lot of girls calling me. And I'm like, well, then go get with them. And I guess he decided to go do that.
Now, there was two very nasty stories that Jen told in this interview that a lot of people have heard. Would love for you to set the record straight if you feel comfortable. One of them is about an assault that supposedly happened, and the end of the assault was caught on Clint's phone. Jen says that you hit Clint in the head with a phone, and then you punched yourself in the face to give yourself a black eye so that he couldn't call the police.
Okay. Well, since I'm like one of the ones that tell, that tell it all, whatever, I'm straight up with you. Mm-hmm. That is so correct. That is correct. Me and Clint were fighting one day, and not to say that he never put his hands on me, because, I'm not going to go into all of that. But we were fighting really bad, and it got real bad. And I guess I blacked out, and I hit him. I thought I hit him with my fist, but I ended up hitting him with my phone. And he not a cracked skull like they said, but it was a pretty big cut. And he was bleeding, and I was, I turned into this like mode of didn't want to go to jail that day for assaulting, my husband. So
right.
I did hit myself in the eye, because if the cops were going to be threatened, I hit myself in the eye. It's just a defense mechanism.
Sure. Did the cops come?
Actually, they came. They did come, because Clint took off. After I hit him, he took off walking, and a cop came to the door, and he said that somebody anonymous called and said we were arguing, and was I okay? And I said yes, but I'm worried about my husband. I don't know where he went. He took off, and he's like, okay, man, but are you okay? And I'm like, yes, I'm fine. He wasn't concerned nothing about Clint. He was just thinking that he hit me. And of course, at the time when the cop came, the black eye wasn't showing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He left, and apparently Clint was just down the street, and Clint actually told me that he saw the cops leave, and the cops stared at Clint and just kept going. So that just goes to show you, in New Mexico, they don't really care about what the guys. They're more interested in, if the girls are okay. And he didn't help him. He didn't say anything to him. He just left. So that's the only time the cops are called. But when Clint came back, he said, I'm not going to call the cops on you. And I was like, okay.
It does seem like when you and Clint are good, you're great. But when you're bad, it's just
worse.
Yeah.
We are. We really are. And, we've done a lot of terrible things to each other. And, I mean, a lot. And that's, what we have to realize is this is reality. It's not the show. The show is a lot of drama. But we, too, are a lot of drama. But, you see, Clint has called the cops before. And so that's why I wasn't so trusting of him at that particular day, because he did call the cops on me one time. And they, of course, nothing ever happened. They did come, and we settled it. So, but yeah, totally. When we're bad, we're real bad. We're both aggressive, and we're both hard-headed. So.
The other shocking allegation came when she mentions a sum of $300 that you went into a house to go get, and Clint was waiting for you outside, where she makes it sound like you were prostituting for cash.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah.
Of course it's like that. No, I don't want to get into detail about what I did, and it's nothing sexual, what I did, but it has to do with illegal stuff. But I have I know a lot of people and in my hometown, and so Clint did take me somewhere one time, and I've invited him to come inside. He did not want to be around all that stuff, so he waited in the car, and he ended up falling asleep in the car. And so I was like, well, I just stayed, and I kind of hung out for a while. And he, I don't know where the whole prostitution thing ended up coming from, but I guess somebody put it in his head that's what I was doing.
Got
but
it.
that's
Okay.
still not okay.
Well, look, I just feel like you should have a chance to address these really kind of nasty things that are being said.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, God, there was one more thing I wanted to clarify, and I got to think of what it was. I totally forgot what I was going to say, but there was one more thing I had to get straight. I have to remember what it was. Because there's so much stuff that was said. I mean, I look like this horrible person. It's just like, wow. But, there's two sides to every story, and I know I'm the crazy one on this show, but I have a really good heart. And, Clint's not exactly, what he makes himself out look to be. He has a lot of mental problems, a lot, and he just needs to get help for that.
You said he smokes pot. Does he have a drug problem too?
Well, in New Mexico, it's legal. So being said that it's legal, it's okay for him to smoke it. So, yes, he does have a marijuana problem, and he even admits that. He's addicted to marijuana. He smokes it every day. Sure does.
Well, it's probably going to be legal across the country very soon, so there'll be a lot of people there to join him. One of the things on that final episode, I believe it was, that shocked the crap out of me is when Clint delivered the lowest blow ever. He talked about the abortion that you two had, or you had, but you talked about having with him. Were you surprised that he would bring that up in front of the cameras like that?
I'm very surprised, Nick, but you have to understand, our last time we filmed, we were in a really bad time. We were fighting nonstop. It was a lot of arguing. The show was like, we were stressed out about the show. I had just had the abortion, and a lot of things. I was just going to go to rehab. So we were in a bad time of probably the worst of our relationship was that week when that part was filmed. And a lot of things happened when he hit himself, There were things that I said that the show did not play. I guess they did, I thought they were going to play it. And I said some things that I promised I would keep secret, things that shouldn't get out. But I lost it, and I started telling the secrets, and so he told them back. That's how that transpired. And so I'm glad that his secret didn't air, and I won't tell them just because I won't do that. So
that's fair.
Yeah, and the abortion, that was a hard time in our life, and I just, he made it sound like that it was all me, but he also agreed to it. So it's both of our decisions.
That's a hard time. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Well, we're getting through it now. So, or I am, should I say? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go. If you thought of what you were going to say.
Yeah, I just want to get this one thing straight. Because Jen did another podcast by herself, and she told them that this is what I don't get. Okay, she told people that I asked her to sleep with my husband, that I asked her to sleep with him, and all the comments were like, "What? Oh my God!" I'm like, "What's wrong with her?" Okay, yes, I did ask Jen to sleep with my husband, and the only reason I asked her that was because she already f***ed him twice. Okay, he already f***ed her the first day he met her. And then I guess they did it again sometime down the line. I don't know when, but she said it was twice. And so at the time while he was in Ohio, we had just barely started talking. And he was telling me he needed sex. And I guess he became a sex addict now. I don't know. But that he couldn't get it from her no more. And I'm like, I said, well, you know, she didn't invite you down there to sleep with you. You know, I guess your intentions were you were going to sleep with this girl every day. And she got on the phone and we were talking all like on three-way. And I just said, Jen, will you sleep with Clint? Please. Oh, shut up. Because he kept whining about getting laid. And I know it all sounds so weird, but, you know, he already slept with her. So, yes, please sleep with my husband so he'll shut up and quit whining.
Well, there had to be a point when you said that, though, that you knew you weren't getting back together with him.
At the time, I did not think we were going to get back together, which, like I said, we have not got back together. But no, I didn't. I knew he wanted to be. I wanted him happy, and he wanted to get laid so bad, and so he kept whining to me about it. And I asked her. I said, "Will you sleep with my husband?" And she said no. And I said, "Okay." I was like, "Well, he's really not that bad, you know." And later on, actually yesterday on the phone, she told me he was a bad lover. So I better disagree. I don't think he is, but she said he was. So.
Got to be with the right person, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, for being a bad lover, she still loves him. So whatever.
I guess we'll have to see where that goes, especially if he's heading to Florida.
Yeah, whatever. I heard he's talking to a bunch of girls, really, but that's his new girlfriend. I guess he's already got pictures of her on his phone and stuff. I mean, he just falls in love online so fast.
So Fancounters is a show where our celebrity guests come and tell us about some experiences that they've had with their fans. So I'm sure that you've been recognized on the street, especially because I'm sure Hobbs is not a big town. Can you tell us some of those crazy, weird fan experiences that you've had?
Okay, so about 3 days ago, I was in Odessa, Texas, and I was at a stoplight, and I was with two friends of mine, and I was in the front seat, and this girl rolled down her window and yelled, and she's like, "Are you Tracie from Love After Lockup?" And we were at a stoplight.
Wow.
And I was like, "No, I don't know what you're talking about." And she goes, "Oh, never mind." I said, No, I'm just kidding. Yes, it's really me. That was kind of cool. And another weird thing I got was one of my cameos. A lady had asked me to do a cameo for her dog.
What?
And I literally had to talk to the dogs, and I had to thank the dogs for watching the show. And then now, need I remind you, this lady paid $100 for me to do this. And so what I did is I went to Walmart, and I stood in the dog section, and I filmed myself there. And I was like, "Hey, dogs, what's going on?" And I had to call them by name.
Wow.
So that was kind of bizarre to do a dog one. I've gotten things in the mail from fans. I've gotten cookies. I've gotten bathing suits. I've gotten wigs. I've gotten just different stuff. It's cool.
Are you eating those baked goods that they're sending you?
I did. I did eat the cookies because they were so delicious. They were just, it was, and well, the girl who sent them to me, we currently talk to this day. She was a fan that became my friend.
Okay.
Hi, Sarah. Her name is Sarah. So she sent me she has a personal whatever, the girl makes her cakes and stuff. So she wanted me to get these cookies, and they said like MF Crack and the Goddess, and they were so pretty.
Have you had creepy cameo requests, like people wanting you to do stuff that is totally not okay on Cameo?
Actually, I have not.
Oh, good.
But I had a lady ask me once if I would say, what would she say? Something about doing drugs or something. And I just said, I say whatever you want me to say. But most of the ones are really, really cool. And I had one lady pay me to make a cameo to myself.
What? Like,
yes,
she wanted you to talk to yourself?
She said it was going to be sent to me, and it was make a video of if you were to give somebody advice on drugs or something, go ahead and say what you're going to say. And she made it to myself. I already got paid for it, so she wanted me to make it for myself. It's kind of different.
She's helping you with your therapy.
Yeah, and then another time when me and Clint went to oh God, what mall were we at? It was a couple. It was right when I got out of rehab. We went to somewhere in Albuquerque or somewhere. We went to the mall, and we literally took 6 different pictures with people. We got recognized like 6 times in that same mall within that day. That's the most I've ever been recognized, was that day at the mall. It was just bizarre.
Besides pictures, are you signing autographs?
I have done that before to a lady. She wanted me to sign a piece of paper. I did that, but most people want to take a picture.
Okay. I have to tell you, I think one of the biggest things in your future, as well as all the other couples on that show, should be to do, you could even have your own con, those conventions where you charge people for the autographs and photos and you just have lines for days of fans who want to come meet you. I think if you all got under one building and held your own for that show, that you would probably have a lot of popularity if you were able to get all that together.
I don't understand. What is it now? It's where you have your own. What is it?
Well, think of like Comic-Con. They bring, or I went to a Walking Dead one where the whole cast of The Walking Dead was under one roof, and each cast member charged for photos and pictures. And I'm thinking if that show that you were on put together a fan fest like that with all of the couples from all of the seasons, that would just be an amazing weekend, I have to say.
Well, yeah, that would be awesome. I got invited one time, a lady, she does this thing where they fly you down and you promote like a restaurant or whatever by being there, and you're charging people at the same time. So you're getting paid to be there, but yet they're making more business because you're there.
Exactly.
And we actually one time, me and Clint were going to go with David and Annie from 90 Day Fiancé.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who that is?
I know who they are. Yeah, I don't watch the show regularly, though.
Okay, yeah, because they have like the #1 top cameo thing. But I talked to David, and he was going to go do something like that, and he invited me and Clint to go with them. But we ended up not going, of course. But that would have been cool because they do that all the time. They go to different places and promote the place by being there, but they're getting paid at the same time.
Now, kind of moving off that topic, just because I want to close out and respect your time.
Okay.
You hung out with Brittany and Marcelino in Las Vegas, right?
I did, and I have pictures too.
But there was a problem with that, wasn't there?
There was a problem, yes, because me and Brittany, well, actually Brittany did. She posted pictures on Facebook, and we couldn't, it wasn't allowed yet.
You weren't allowed to meet?
I really don't know about that. See, me and Clint went to Vegas to go have some fun, and
right.
They were, of course, filming. So, no, they didn't want us to have pictures. Even though that had nothing to do with the show, we weren't allowed to post pictures of them, of us together.
Had you had any contact with them after that, or do you keep in contact with any of the couples?
Yeah, I do, actually. But I do, yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to say much more, but yeah, I talked to a couple people. But I've talked to Scott. I've talked to Lizzie. Brittany and Marcelino I have not kept up with. And I've actually been talking to someone from season 1.
Okay.
So that's all I can say.
Cool. No problem. Yeah, Scott was on the show a few weeks back. He was an interview that I had been working on since like May to try and get him on the show, and he just didn't want to talk to anybody, and he finally came on, and that was a really neat experience. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, me and Scott, we talked for a while. This is after Clint went to Ohio. We started talking, and he said if I remember down in California, give him a visit. And he was a real nice guy, real nice to talk to.
He is.
And so, very sweetheart.
Now, are you seeing someone now or not, or are you just kind of playing the single married life?
No, I'm not seeing anybody. I have not seen anybody. And as of right now, my heart is not with it right now to be single and mingle. So I'm just not really looking for anybody. And no, I'm not looking for anybody at all. My heart is still with Mr. Clint Brady, and that's just the way it is.
Are you holding out hope that you guys will end up back together?
I mean, I do, but I know it would be totally different. It would be our relationship would be different due to everything that's happened. But I mean, yeah, when he asked me to go to Ohio just a couple of days ago, I mean, my heart was like, whoa, and then, but then his mental issues come upon and everything changes, and he's one way one day and he's different the next, and it's just I don't know if I want to deal with all that again. So, but then and all the hateful things he said about me on Facebook, and it's just it's kind of hard to get over, you know. And I've done my fair share of bad things, but I don't sit there and the only reason I bash him is because he bashed me, and telling people all this stuff about me that is just unnecessary. So, because I got my own secrets that I could kill him with these secrets, but or ruin him. But I won't do that. I'm not that way.
No, you seem to be you have different standards as far as how far you'll go with people and all of that. In fact, I know that you have very loyal fans, and I think that would let them down if you played that same game.
Yeah, and it's secrets that just he knows what they are, and I don't want to entertain the fans with that. And I love all my fans, and I talked to some of them as of 2 years ago, and I still have the same ones, and they're awesome. They're so awesome. They've stood up for me. They've encouraged me. They're there through all my Facebook posts, and I talked to a lot of them on the phone, and when Clint posted my phone number on Facebook, trying to get back at me, he actually did me a favor. I got a lot of good calls, and I had a lady pay me to do a FaceTime with her, like for 2 minutes, and it just got me more entwined with the fans, and I got to speak to them. So, but I had about 700 calls within the 2 days.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was overwhelming.
Tracie, what do you want everybody to know about where you are right now, what your future looks like? What do you want to tell the fans?
Right now, like I said, I'm still in Texas, and I'm just taking it day by day. I haven't, as far as the future, I really don't know what the future holds, because I don't really know where I stand yet. Because, first I was just kind of playing it here, and then I had planned to go to Ohio. And now things, are a little bit different within the day. And so I really don't know where I stand as far as where I'm going to be permanently. But I just, for the future, I don't believe there's going to be a season 3. And I'll still be on Facebook and all that good stuff. So I'll be here chilling in Texas.
Are you going to work, or, are you looking for a job, or?
Actually, I know I haven't yet, because I was doing pretty well off my Cameo money, and I still have checks coming in, and so I'm okay right now. I'm doing okay, but I need to get off my butt and get a regular job, and I just have not yet.
What do you think you want to do?
Oh God, I'd probably go be a waitress. Go be a waitress somewhere, because I'm good with people.
Yeah.
When I first got out of rehab, and me and Clint were going to live in Albuquerque, this was before I knew he was going to Ohio, I was going to apply as a rehab to give back. Kind of give back, you know what I mean? I just had left rehab, and I thought it'd be great for an addict to work at a rehab, because I can relate. You
can relate, yeah. Not a bad idea. Well, Tracie, thanks for taking the time to share your story with us on Fancounters, to debunk some stuff that's been out there, and also just address your life in general. It's greatly appreciated, and we're glad you chose our show to do that on.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. And, not all the answers are going to be good answers, but I tell it like it is, and if you don't like them, then, oh, well. So that's my life, and that's just how it is. And thank you again for having me on there on your show.
You bet. My thanks to Tracie Wagaman for joining us on the show this week. We are really sorry that Clint wasn't here, but as you know, and as you heard in the interview, that just wasn't possible. But maybe he'll join us on a future episode as well. That would be great. As we mentioned at the top of the show, you can subscribe to Fancounters to make sure that you don't miss an episode. You never know who our celebrity guest will be until we release the new episode each and every Friday. And next Friday, I'm going to give you a little sample. If you've ever wondered how television and movies get their music, how characters get certain music cues, and how those are created, we are going to talk to a composer who's been in the Hollywood film and television industry for over 4 decades. And he will be here to tell us about some of his biggest things he's worked on, including a project with Michael Jackson just days before his death. We're going to have all that for you next week on the Fancounters Celebrity Podcast. So as you wait for another show to be released, hit subscribe, give us a 5-star review, practice your social distancing, quarantine if necessary, and we will talk to you next Friday. Stay healthy, everybody.